Maybe we can just start by saying hello, actually, and just do a little check-in, because it's 9:24. So just in the interest of having time to do what we're here to do. So my name's Julia Pond, and together with Lindsay, we have developed this workshop as a kind of way of sitting with, moving with, being with spaces of death and decay, and kind of seeing what we can save through our senses. And so we're kind of calling that a sensorial stockpile. I'm a dance artist and a researcher, and also studied politics. And so I'm very interested in kind of these intersections of how we can maybe develop new knowledge about what's happening in the world and how the world works through these kind of fanciful embodied experiences. I'm originally from the US, as you'll hear in my accent, and I live in London now. Emma, do you want to say hello?
Yeah, hello. I'm Emma. I am primarily a visual artist, but I studied an MA at Laban, so bringing in movement practices into my art. And together, me and Julia we've created this workshop, this experience, which kind of sits at the intersection of our combined interests. And I'm currently in Brighton in the UK. Sorry, but I'm next to a main road, so if you hear any loud sirens, I apologise. I'm looking forward to the workshop, and right now it's sunny outside, which is good.
So it'd be great if you're willing, Olive and Sambat, to just say hello, and maybe any quick thing that you'd like to say about yourself, maybe why you're here, or anything you'd like to say, just briefly, to say hello.
Yeah, hello, my name is Sambat. I'm a social anthropologist by my education, and I study funeral rituals, so I'm generally interested in the topic of death.
Nice.
Great.
Hey, I'm Olive, and I'm a somatic movement educator and a dance artist and researcher, and I'm currently also working on a project that's sort of looking at forming and unforming on a damaged earth. So that's where my attention is right now.
Nice. To learn more about that as well. Cool. And Karis, I don't know if you want to say anything or stay quiet. Are you going to dip in at all, or are you going to stay on the edges?
Hi, I'm mostly going to stay in the edges, but I'm happy to kind of tell you a little bit more. My name is Karis. I'm a part-time MA student at Falmouth University, so have connected to this event via Matt Osmond, who's one of the chairs overall. And it's just, really great to be a part of this. Haven't been kind of involved that much in the organization at all, just kind of volunteered to help with helping with the event as it happens. But really lovely to meet you all and see kind of what's happening. Kind of going to be on the periphery, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for saying hello. So we just thought we'd start by, so we're going to take us through just a little warm up together, and then we're going to go out for a solo exploration with these scores and come back to wind up. So let's just start by getting into our bodies together. And if you would like to step away or find a way to stand up in your space, or you could stay sitting down if you don't feel comfortable standing up, it's up to you. So coming to your feet, and first of all, just feel your feet on the ground, the four corners of the feet, the inside, outside of the balls of the feet and the heels, the bony structures where your feet touch the ground and don't touch the ground. And take a few deep breaths into the belly, letting them go. Maybe shifting the weight a little bit. And then begin with what I've been calling just a free write with the body. So this is like the technique of free writing, where you put any kind of words on the paper and just keep your pen moving. You just put your body into motion. And maybe if you're not sure where to start, you can start with an arm. Just put that arm into motion. If you find that your free write starts with more parts of your body, that's also cool. So it's just a way of stepping into moving without it having to be shaped, rhythmic, beautiful. Can just be exactly whatever it is. Maybe you imagine that nobody's really watching your movement in the way that maybe nobody reads a free write you do. Get the joints moving. Keep your movement going for another 30 seconds or so. And I'm going to pass to Emma.
So now coming to stillness again, we'll bring the arms up to the side with a big inhale, bringing the arms up above the head, taking a stretch or a yawn if you wish. Breathe the arms back down, and then allow the head to follow, and let the head lower all the way to the ground, vertebra by vertebra. And let yourself just hang here. Let the back of the neck release. You might want to hold the elbows and rock a bit side to side if that feels good. Light bend in the knees. Slowly, very slowly rolling back up. And coming up, sensing your body in alignment, and gravity, and then just have a little shake, shaking the extremities. And Julia, I'll pass back to you.
Okay, keep shaking. Shake a little more. Take the intensity of your shaking up another 10%. And then take it up another, if you were, let's pretend that was at 60%, and so take it up another 10% to 70% of your full shaking capacity. And then getting a little more intense, take it up to 80, 90%. And then whatever your 100% is, just moving, shaking, getting the blood flowing. Probably first thing in the morning for a lot of us. Good. And then let that settle back down through 90, 80, 70, 50, 40, 30, back down to stillness. Take a big breath in. Great. So we're gonna actually start to move into scores now, just after getting blood moving, hopefully a little bit. Hopefully we feel a little bit warmer. So if you want to take what you need to head outside, could be to your garden, could be into, I don't know what kind of environments we're in at the moment, but that's not important. Just take what you need to feel comfortable. Take your phone for the scores. And the idea is, so Emma and I have prepared 4 scores, and you can listen to them in order. And at the end of each one, there's generally some time to pause and work with the task at your leisure a little bit. And we'll take about 45 minutes to do all 4 scores. Okay, and the first couple are quite short, walking out into your environment. So you're like kind of walking out, finding a place that you might like to practice. Could be a park, could be a quiet place, could be urban. We don't have to ruminate about the environments that we're in. And you work your way through the scores. So the first few, the longest one is 5 minutes, but then you're taking time as well for a little bit of solo exploration before moving on to the next one. And the last score is sensorial stockpiling, and that one, try to leave yourself, if you can, about 15 to 20 minutes of the 45 minutes to play with that one. We will hop in on. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying it's worth saying feel free to go into the scores as much or as little as you feel like, depending on how the environment feels, how safe you feel. So there's an invitation to move, but it can also be very small movement, stillness, and also people might ask you what you're doing, which is okay. It's I think people are drawn to both movement and stillness. It's an eye-catching thing, but it's probably unlikely. Just a heads up.
No, I think that's really good. So
I'm sorry, I didn't get the task. What is the task?
Okay.
What?
Were you able to access the 4 scores?
Yes, I downloaded it.
So they're basically audio guides, and in the guides there's instructions. For the first one, will take you walking out into the world. The second one is arriving.
Julia, your sound's gone. Well, I'll just pick up from where she left off. Hopefully she can rejoin us in a second. So the scores are, the tracks include invitations to interact with your environment, pause, listen, and they're essentially a walking guide or movement guide, and just finding new ways to interact and see and be with your wherever you choose to explore.
I see. Thank you.
Julia, are you back? She's gone. Okay, well, in order to have enough time when we get back, I think we should head out now if you're all a-okay with what to do. If you feel comfortable. If you have any questions, pop back on the hop-in, or if you have our emails. I don't know if you got an email from Julia. That might be another way of contacting us if you have any questions. But yeah, see you in 45 minutes. Great. Enjoy. Hello.
Hi, how's it going in the hangout space?
Good, good.
Going good. How is it in the outdoor space?
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. It's
Good.
I spent all of yesterday on the computer grant writing and in the conference and lectures, and so it was really good to be out there. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good, good.
Sambat is going to come back. Yeah.
Where did you say you were based, Olive?
I'm living in Oslo, in Norway, and I live on the fjord. And where I live, it's like I have the freeway right now. I'm in a temporary apartment, but I have the freeway on one side and the ocean on the other side.
Wow.
And then underneath, there's a whole water project going on. So sometimes also I can feel the explosions underneath my house.
Wow.
I'm down on the beach, and there's like these amazing, it's kind of super rocky, and then all these mostly kind of pine trees, like furu, we call them in Norwegian, and a lot of roses, wild roses, and also ash trees. There's a ton of berries down there right now, and then there's also all these dead loamy birds. I just saw two actually, but there was a storm, and whenever there's a storm, they wash up on the beach.
Wow.
And then there's kind of special.
Mm.
And there's mushrooms and lichen and fungi and stuff to find. So it's
Beautiful.
a nice spot to be. And then as I'm walking back, I meet my landlord, and he gives me some really intense chemicals, pink chemicals, to use on the mold on the wall inside the house. So also just this conversation between being imprinting and being in my, in my sensory like experience, and then also having that, someone also, this older woman also talked to me for a while about what I was doing. And so I'm used to it, and I just said to her, I'm so tired of being polite about it, and so I just was very, and she was very, she was very like curious, and then she was like, oh, and I'm out of here. Like she was really curious, and then she was like, okay. Because in Norway, there's a lot of caretaking. There's like a lot of social caretaking that happens if you're doing anything slightly weird in space.
That's interesting. So it's
a good thing, but it's also really feels like a level of control in terms of what's possible as a mover, right? Like, how do I want to be with all of myself?
Yeah.
And so, whereas in America, I lived for a long time in the States, and in America, in England, everyone just apologizes and gets out of the way. And in America, people don't really care. They're just like, I mean, some people care. Some people are. There's a lot of diverse experiences, I think. But in Norway, there's really this like we're here to take care of you. We don't believe you're making art. We need to help you.
are you okay? We need to fix this.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though, so I don't know, we keep being in performance contexts where we're working outside and people are calling ambulances and police, even though these are like produced, funded works, because people can't, it's not in their range of life in a way, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's missing from their possibility of how we could live. So I'm really interested in trying to figure out how to kind of broker those conversations to bring people in.
How do you do when a police or an ambulance shows up at your performance? What is that?
Well, first of all, they should know. They should have been told by the venue. And if they didn't, why are they here? But second of all, I'm enjoying the seaweed. I'm performing right now. There's someone over there who can talk to you about what's happening. I'm having a great time. Would you like to taste the seaweed? I don't know. Whatever is going on, right? Like, how do we bring people in and show them that we're okay? And then also get their permission to continue. Well, it's not that I need their permission, but allow them enough security that they can leave, right? But I think that I think it's a waste of everybody's resources. But so how do we prevent that from happening in the first place? I think is a really important question. But if signage and costumes and multiple people doing it and there being a host, if all those things aren't enough and still people have concern, like there's really some kind of weird gap in people's experience. And I'm interested in that. Mm-hmm. It's not just that it's a bad thing or it's a problem, but I'm actually interested in why.
Yeah. Why is that something that's so out of the realm of what one might do? Why?
It's so fucking sad that you can't roll on the ground or something, and be smelling stuff without people being terrified for you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So just like, I think this question of building, I love this idea of imprinting and building like a kind of the sensory archive for myself, or this sort of resources. And so I really think that piece of, of your research, I think I thought it was a beautiful progression into that moment. And then all of a sudden, actually, this is the thing that you're delivering. Like, like that was my feeling. Like I was being warmed up, and then actually I was like, oh, this is what I'm doing. Is I'm imprinting and I'm having this experience. So this old woman came up to me and she said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm just getting to know the base of this tree as if it was my grandmother. Mm-hmm. And then I said to her, and it smells really different down here than it does up here. I should have got her to come down and smelt it with me. But I said, and then I took her into a conversation about death and dying, because I was like, I'm not going to miss this opportunity. Like, I'm not just going to let this be me being weird, or me being in a philosophy or an art experience, but I'm actually going to use it as a way to try and like share a little bit more with her.
Nice.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good to hear. It felt like for us, it's like, we have all these conversations about things dying and what we can save and saving the things, but it just feels like it's the intimacy of it, like you were saying about rolling on the ground and like smelling the earth, in the sense that like we're animals and like this is an intimate experience with the world. And so something about imprinting and kind of knowing this stuff in our flesh and in our bones is like important in terms of how to
Julia with the vanishing internet.
No.
Oh, just the vanishing image. But I also think there's a cycle in there, right? Which is that the dying and the decomposing is super life-giving. So
Yeah.
right, so and especially, you know, but not all dying is life-giving.
Yeah.
I guess, but I think our dying could be life-giving for sure. I think there's something about experiencing the cyclical nature of that when you're out with the trees and the dirt and the decomposing birds. Like there's something within the, you know, within that frame that we can go there, take people there quite easily into the life-giving force, right? And you kind of did that. You had us go into the decaying, and then to choose something that was living as something to imprint around.
Yeah, I think it's quite simple, really. I think it's not that complicated.
Well, that's kind of how I feel. It's complicated. You know, I feel like, I don't know if you guys saw the film. Did you see the film that's on here? This, what is it called? It's
Is it the Jennifer film?
Yes.
I'm gonna catch up on it after this. I haven't been able to.
Fantastic. So yeah, it's fantastic. And so actually I feel like, because I've been working on this project called Resisting Extinction, and we're doing these dying and decomposing practices. And what we start with is we take people out and do kind of a sensory walking thing with them. And we don't get this direct into or specific in terms of this imprinting idea, but I think that's really like this collecting of experiences, like really marking it in that way. But we create this, where was I going with this comment? Oh, just that this, I think the space of, well, there were many things about the film, but I think really the clarity of how do we open up the conversation, you know, when everybody's disassociating and in denial and la la la. And I feel like the sensory stuff is like, you know, it's our, as artists and as dancers, it's like what we do, and it's where we kind of live, and how do we give those tools to other people to also inhabit the world in this way that is, you know, way more enriching and kind of like connected and relational, right? And then the question is, how can we get to that other side of the conversation around dying and decomposing, just because it's so suppressed and hidden, and let's not talk about it because it hurts too much. And so then, you know, and then the question is like, yeah, what are all the things that we're like, why are we imprinting? Because we're going to lose all these things, and we're building a memory bank, like we are building a seed bank. Like, is that why we're imprinting? You know, to feel like we lived well, or to just build relationships so we care more, right? So I think these are all questions that I'm looping with or working with in my own work that I think relate probably to what you're doing. But,
yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I'd like to learn more about the work you're doing.
It's I've shared a little bit in the expo.
I saw your site there.
Yeah. So the project is called Resisting Extinction, and there's a little bit of information on that page, and then I'm kind of building the documentation page at the moment, because we just premiered the first version of the work, but I'm going to keep working on it, and I already feel like, it already needs. I started rewriting stuff this morning because I was like, even though we've been working on it for 2 years, I was like, this needs updating. Like this feeling of like also just the speed in which things are shifting and changing. Because I felt like when I started working on the project, it was like really this moment of denial. And now I just feel like we're just disassociating, because actually everyone knows this is happening. So, yeah. And so my larger research is also looking at embryology or coming into form. And so that's a slightly different project. But I think the project that relates to you guys is this Resisting Extinction project.
Yeah. Yeah, that like not being alienated, or I keep thinking about these practices like anti-alienation practices, like don't disassociate. It's hard not to. Yeah. Sometimes.
Oh, well, I think it's necessary to sometimes, but to know that you're choosing to do that, right? And then when you have the space to be in relationship and to be with the grief, then you stay there, right? And I think that if it's just it's an unconscious choice is one thing. So what is it to kind of weave the web of things back together, right? And the more of this repair that we can do, or this rebuilding of relationships, then we're in a different ground. We create a different ground for ourselves. So
yeah, I'd love to see where your research continues to go and keep. Is your website the best way to see what's happening?
Yeah, and you can go directly. We're going to build you can go directly. You can also just type in resistingextinction.org, and it'll bring you directly to that project page. But we will build a separate website for this project, I think, because I think we'll build a little bit what you're doing. We'll build some scores and tools for people that are usable for people in different contexts. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for being here and sharing your reflections.
You're welcome. Have you guys it's funny, Julia, I went in at one point and read your bio, and I was like, oh, you're an Isadora Duncan person, and then I was like, I just booked tickets tonight to go see the other end of the spectrum, Jerome Bell's Isadora Duncan.
Oh yeah, with Elizabeth in it. Yeah, I haven't gotten to see that because of the pandemic stuff, but I know Elizabeth I organized the symposium for a long time and did that.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
So I just laughed because I was like, I had just booked tickets last night, and I'm like kind of killing my child because I'm never at home or I'm online. But I'm like, yeah, and then tonight we're doing this. So I just laughed when I saw your bio. I was like, oh, it's the beginning and the end of the day.
Yeah, well, Duncan, I definitely see some of these eco things as there's a little bit of Neo Duncan in there, moving with the trees and the waves.
Well, but it doesn't. The thing is that shit doesn't go away. Do you know what I mean? It's there, and I feel like this whole idea of creative movement and those first early dance classes for me, which was be a tree. I'm still doing the same practices, right?
Guess what? Cutting edge practitioners, you're still doing trees.
And also, I feel like this radical kind of feminist history, and I'm also a body mind centering practitioner and teacher, and I run a training program, so I'm also embedded in that work, and it's just so I feel like it's also funny to go see this Jerome thing tonight because I'm also I'm kind of a hater on conceptual work, and male conceptual work, but I'll go. But just I'm really trying to hold this whole other space that is not that thing and is also not work for the theater. I feel like that lineage of coming all the way back to Isadora is totally real, it's not a fanciful thing at all. It's a very sort of real and pragmatic history in a way for these conversations.
Yeah, there's a lot there with the natural world and the political stuff both.
Yeah.
I hope the show's good. I hope I get to see it.
I hope so too. I'll let you know.
Fingers crossed. Keep me posted.
Yeah. Well. So, how can I find? So, I have your website, and I can get hold of Emma through your website too, Julia. Right?
Yeah. And
my website is. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay. And have you guys been to any other sessions at this event so far that were amazing?
Yeah. I love the keynote speaker bio.
Yeah.
I can never remember his second name, but yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah. Great. Yeah. Various dipping in and out of things. It's been nice to kind of have it on in the background of it as well, and tuning in and out. But yeah,
caught Beatrice Allegranti's like moving kinship stuff yesterday, which was really nice to see, like talking about her process working with people with dementia, but kind of taking stories and turning that into performance as an offering for the people whose stories they are, which I thought was a really kind of touching way to create performance. Beautiful about that. And I'm kind of catching up a little bit because I've been dealing with 6-year-old Halloween stuff, and
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
Me too. Yeah, mine was 10-year-old Halloween and solo parenting for the week. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to stay online the whole time. Anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's really good to meet you.
Yeah, lovely to meet you both too. Thank you very much for your work. And is it you'll keep developing and working on it? Is that the plan? Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
We'd like to do like a manual. We're thinking like a printed manual and a digital version that we can share with people.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking of also building. I've been doing a kind of ecosomatics thing on Zoom with people in different landscapes over the past year also, and I'm thinking of building some kind of, I think, book around that as well, or guide around that as well. But
Fantastic. Yeah.
I'll look out for it.
All right.
Well,
Take care.
Take care.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.